2 months ago, over 2 months ago, on I think it was like episode 30 something of the Fourth Long podcast, I said this, Jalen. I said that Cam Newton is the right quarterback for the New England Patriots. And look what happened. It's almost like I was right. And it's almost like I even called the day before. I texted my friend Ray saying that Tom Brady was going to the Bucks. It's like It's like I predict these things, Jalen. Call me
We
Mr.
we
Math.
tell you every single week on this podcast. These aren't predictions. We're telling you the future.
Well, also some people I may have rightfully gone the reputation of being the guy with hot takes, but you can't deny that almost all of them come to life.
I think one of our best ones so far. I know it's because he lost. It doesn't seem as good, but we did predict that Lamar Jackson was going to throw for over 300 yards in that playoff game. Who would have guessed that?
Right, and also it made Jalen really mad the day of. But right before the draft pick, I said Jalen Hurts to the Eagles, and which also in that second round, you have to remember that second round, I guess like 10 picks in a row.
Yeah, he was like, I think 10. It was 10 picks in a row, but there was like a good like row of like 15, 16 picks where he got like 15 or 14 in a row.
It was really stupid and it shouldn't have happened. It did happen. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fourth and Long Podcast, episode 42 of the Fourth and Long Podcast. Apparently, this is the number that is like the answer to everything, like the answer to the universe or whatever. The only answer you need to know is, hey, which podcast is the best out there for sports and sports analysis?
Fourth and Long.
Damn right. But today, Cam Newton to the Patriots. Like I said, Patriots doing the most Patriot thing imaginable. We'll get more into that in a second.
And signing a black man.
Chris Jones. Chris Jones cites Le'Veon Bell. The NFL cuts the preseason. NBA. What do we do with the 8 teams that are not going to Orlando? And happy Bobby Bonilla Day for all you MLB and baseball fans. And to top things off, the NHL might be coming back to the Olympics, and this team somehow won the draft lottery. Yeah. Oh, it's stupid. But let's get into things. Cam Newton has signed with the Patriots. He signed the veteran minimum, 1 year, $7.5 million. I just want to say that this is such a Patriots move. You wait all this time. You skip the draft. You have everyone sold on Jarrett Stidham, which I believe that they're still sold on. We'll get into that. But you get a former league MVP. After losing a former league MVP, you get
first
one
team
right
to
back.
Do that, by the way.
Yes,
first team to ever get
a
lose
offseason
MVP and then gain an MVP in the same offseason.
Crazy stuff. It's only the Patriots that do that. Come on now. Of course, who else but Bill Belichick, the Hood, and the New England Patriots? And Joe, when I saw the notification, I wasn't surprised, but I was like a little, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It was, I wouldn't say surprising to me. It was kind of surprising a little bit. Not that it happened first. It was because before my actual notification popped up, I have a couple of Patriots friends, Patriots fan friends who messaged me, and they blowing on my phone. I told you so. Told you where you weren't going to do anything without a new quarterback. They were kind of crying. They were crying. This was their holiday. This was their Christmas, early Christmas. But it was an expected pick. I mean, we knew it was going to pick up. It was going to happen. And we knew Cam was going to go. I thought they were going to wait. I honestly thought they were going to wait. I knew he was going to sign with the Patriots. I expected them to wait to sign him. I thought they were going to wait till
even longer.
Yeah, I thought they were going to sign.
You're saying mid-season.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go into season. Jarrett Stidham was going to probably go 2 for 2 or something like that.
Well, who knows? Because the question still is Cam Newton going to be the Week 1 starter? We had a unnamed AFC East coach that says that he does not think Cam Newton is going to be the starter. That the Patriots reportedly still really high on the unknown beast that is Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him play much. I don't know.
Play in any regular season game.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know what he can do. So I mean, if we're just going off of who's proven himself, obviously I'm throwing Cam in there.
Exactly. Exactly.
We don't know who's the better.
But it's also weird because who knows? Because Patriots some years ago when Tom Brady blew out his ACL early in the season, they won 10 games with Matt Castle. So even if Jarrett Stidham was going to be the starter, like, dude, they're still probably going at least 9-7. But this Cam Newton, it's a good move because in New England, there's no such thing as a tank. There was no way Bill Belichick was ever going to accept a tank, even if it's for a guy like tank for Tua. The Hood is never going to do that. And so, good move. Now, not only is he going to be a week 1 starter, but is he the best quarterback in the AFC East?
I don't know. Let's see. Who's in the AFC East right now?
You got Jared Allen.
Yep.
You have the quarterback that sees ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Fitzmagic or probably Tua Tagovailoa. It's definitely not. Sam Darnold's probably the best quarterback in the division, right?
I mean, you see ghosts. So
obviously he has a sixth sense. All these other quarterbacks, see, Jim, this is why he's the best. All these other quarterbacks in the division, even in the league, what they have? They have 5 senses. But Sam Darnold, 6 senses. That's 1 more sense than every other quarterback. Therefore, he is the best quarterback in the league.
They never tell you what happened to that kid at the end of the 6th sense. This is what happened to him. He became Sam Darnold. He changed his name, and now he's the starting quarterback for the Jets. Just a little update on his life, guys.
Wow.
He still sees ghosts.
Wow. No, to answer this, though, Cam Newton is not the best AFC or the best. Currently, I cannot say that Cam Newton is the best quarterback in that division. I would have to say
he has the highest potential.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Maybe even Tua might have that, to be honest.
I'm talking about for this season.
Oh, for this season.
For this season, he has the highest.
Currently, the best quarterback in the division is Jared Allen. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I was just thinking of one of the greatest defensive ends of all time. But
Jared Allen.
Josh Allen is probably the best quarterback currently because we know what he could provide. We haven't seen Cam Newton healthy for a bit now. Ever since his MVP run in that 2015-16 season where they blew the Super Bowl to the Denver Broncos, go Broncos, we haven't really seen Cam Newton at his full, and so this season is going to be interesting. Cam Newton, in terms of pass and accomplishments and the quarterback that he is in his career, is the best quarterback in the AFC East. But currently, I'm going to have to go with Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would say based off what he did, which is kind of crazy that both of the Panther quarterbacks from last season have now moved into the AFC East.
Right.
I think based off of last season, coming into this season, I think you would have to assume that Josh Allen's going to be the best quarterback in this division. I mean, I think Cam can be great. I think if he's taking care of his injuries like it seems like he has been.
He looks healthy. He looks good. I mean, it's just Instagram, but you got to take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, you gotta have to go with what you see. So I think Cam's going to be the best quarterback in the AFC East this year if he ends up starting. But you never know. Stuff happens. Tua could come out and be the best rookie to ever play. We don't know. So
or Fitzmagic could do Fitzmagic stuff again.
Yeah, if we're going off of last season though, I think we'd have to say Josh Allen. But I think I would say Cam just based off of just logic. And if I had to put my money on it, I would say Cam.
Very fair. Let's move on into something that happened on the same day, literally like 10 minutes apart. We got the Cam Newton signing, and then 10 minutes. I don't think it was even 10 minutes. I think it's like 5 minutes after. You see from ESPN, Pat's punished for sideline filming. They're fined $1.1 million and lose a 2021 third-round pick. So almost a little slap on the wrist. This is from the actions of their film crew during the Week 14 game with the Cincinnati Bengals. They got fined for filming the Bengals. I mean,
yeah. Who films the Bengals?
I understand, Deflategate, that was an AFC Championship game. They had Spygate for important games, but the Bengals, really, that's the Patriot. Bill Belichick is scared of the Bengals.
The funniest thing I saw though was on, I don't remember what page it was. It was on Instagram and Twitter. There was a couple Patriots fans like, why are we in trouble for filming? We did nothing wrong. And I was like, the fact that you say that makes you the perfect Patriots fan. The fact that you don't understand that filming people's sidelines is against the rules. And you're like, why are we being punished?
If you want the perfect Patriots fans, you got to throw in a little bit of racism with there too.
You got to throw a couple of racist.
Say Golden Boston. Now you got black quarterback. So change your act.
Good luck with that.
I feel so bad
for
Cam. If Mookie Betts couldn't get respect in Boston, what's going to happen to Cam Newton?
I mean, they did have a black quarterback a couple years back by the name of Jacoby Brissett. He never said anything bad about Boston, so maybe Cam Newton will be fine.
Let's hope so. I genuinely.
If we're going off of just straight up history and facts, Boston fans have been known to be slightly a tinge racist,
and that's not slander. That's fact.
That's fact.
But this whole thing, signing Cam Newton and releasing news all this right before this news is like, come on, New England had to have known that this news was going to be publicized at this time at this date. And they just magically, coincidentally, got signed Cam Newton and broke the news of that 5 minutes before this news was released. This is such another thing that is such a Patriots move. It's classic Patriots.
Yeah. And it's fine. They're going to trade and get that 3rd round pick anyways. They're going to trade and get it back. They don't care.
It's the Patriots. Come on now. It's
Bill Belichick will find some way to get a 3rd round pick back.
He's going to find some loophole.
Some loophole. He's gonna film just to get someone else fined and get somebody else's 3rd round pick taken away.
We'd love the Patriots here.
But I also have something. I think that I think that people who get fined and get like their draft picks taken away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they do it now. I'm pretty sure they just the pick just doesn't exist anymore. Is that correct?
I'm pretty sure.
I think what should happen is that pick should now become complimentary pick to a team.
Compensation.
Compensatory pick, whatever.
That's
how it should work. I think they should definitely give the pick to another team, and
like
they
the
just
Broncos.
could use the pick. Yeah, funny. I don't care, but they should give it to somebody else. Or since the Bengals are the people who are getting spied on, give the pick to the Bengals.
Hey, but Jalen, the thing is, we're talking about the NFL here. That makes too much sense.
That makes exactly too much sense, which is why it will never happen.
Hey, one thing that does actually make sense, though, well, it doesn't make sense that the Chiefs are doing this to him, but it does make sense that Chris Jones is doing this to the Chiefs. He has hinted at holding out this season if he does not get an extension by the beginning of the regular season. He's looking for a pretty sizable contract, considering that he is arguably the key of that defense. He maybe besides Tyrann Mathieu, but he is the heart and soul of that. Yeah. Without him, without him, they would have been to the Super Bowl to play the Rams a couple of years ago, because he did touch the helmet of Tom Brady.
Look, this is what he did. For those of y'all watching the tape, this is what he did to Tom Brady. That's what he did to Tom Brady. Little poke for all y'all on Spotify and Apple Music.
Apple Music, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcast. Yeah,
it was pocket poke. That's what he did.
It was awful. It was awful. But during this, he did cite his friend Le'Veon Bell. So
yeah, when you have friends,
he's
like that,
serious. And the Chiefs,
the company you keep.
If the Chiefs lose Chris Jones, this is it too big of a thing to say that this is, if they lose Chris Jones, this is going to be one of the things that leads
I'm
to
gonna tell you guys this right now. I'm going to tell you guys this right now.
Okay.
If Chris Jones doesn't play, and we will be seeing Andy Reid suit up this year. He will be the most ferocious front seven man of all time.
It'd be like the whole Bobby Boucher thing. You put someone's face on the
longest
opposite
yard
players, or the longest yard too. They did it in both. But would you put a little Big Mac on the face of the opposing quarterback?
Oh yeah,
maybe a nice, or if he really needs to get after it, nice full rack of baby back ribs, Kansas City style.
Andy Reid loves his cheeseburger.
Oh, he's killing everyone if he goes after that.
I honestly, if I ever make it that far to where I am become friends with Andy Reid, I would love to sit down and have a nice meal with Andy Reid. I feel like he'd be a great man to eat with, or to eat his cooking. I feel like he can cook.
He probably knows. He knows how to cook it, but also at least he knows the places to go.
He knows the places. I need to get a recommendation list from Andy Reid.
Hey, Andy Reid, come on the show. I know you listen.
Come on the show, man.
I know you listen.
I know you're a big football guy, and it's no disrespect, but I know you know something about food. We've heard some of your interviews in the past. We know you know something about the best food spots.
Love
Man.
you, Andy Reid. Now he's Hall of
Love
Fame
Andy Reid.
ever since he won that Super Bowl last year.
Oh, yeah,
And
for sure.
finally, to wrap up this NFL news, let's talk about them doing something right and cutting short the preseason. They have eliminated a Hall of Fame game, which everyone in the football community was absolutely devastated by that news because we were all really looking forward to the glorious Hall of Fame game.
You know, if the world wasn't how it was and they canceled the Hall of Fame game, I think it would have affected me more. But on a normal basis, I like the Hall of Fame game just because it's like early. It's like football.
Well, also the Broncos were in last year, so that kind of was nice.
You know, it's just nice to see football a little bit earlier than it was meant to be. Yeah, just a little football.
Gives you a hint.
Little
but now we
football.
get no week 1, no week 4, so pretty much the 2 most meaningless weeks anyway.
Yes.
Unless you're one of the fringe roster players. So if you have a roster spot and you're probably like your first and second string, you probably don't have to worry. But if you're one of them third stringers, one of those people in the 60s and 70s on that roster, this is really bad news for you.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because we love to see those players. That's kind of like how I do every preseason. I kind of find like a group of players up to like 5 players that are on the team that I'm kind of like, I hope you make it.
It's the funnest thing to do, not even on the team, but like around the league.
Yeah, it's just fun to see players like that because you never know. They might get cut because their team's already stacked at that position. You might end up on your team squad.
Yep.
So it's always nice to see those those stories that kind of come about and those teams that end up making the roster. Like I don't know how the Broncos were, but I know over the last couple of years we had Dennis Gardeck and Ezekiel Turner both make the roster. Who I was really pulling for to make the roster. They called him Gardeck was Gardeck the Barbarian all preseason, and I was like, he has to make the roster. As his name is Gardeck the Barbarian. So just stuff like that, stories like that. We're probably gonna miss out on this season. But I think, with some news, like, I don't know, the XFL may be coming back. Some of those guys are still probably going to get a shot somewhere. The XFL, I don't know if we have this on the agenda. Do we have this on the agenda? I don't want to ruin it.
Nope.
Okay.
No. Well, but the XFL, it's coming back. 100%.
Yeah, they have notified players to prepare for returning in the future. So it's looking like the XFL is coming back. So those players who might miss out on the 2 extra games, they're going to get a full season in the XFL to show that they deserve to be in the NFL. So,
exactly
another good reason why we need the XFL back.
God bless the XFL to sum things up.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move into our NBA news, though. So there are 22 teams that have been invited to Orlando. We've been over this, but there's 8 that are not. These teams include the Hawks, Hornets, Bulls, Cavs, Pistons, Warriors, Timberwolves, and the Knicks. And there's been a thing brought up like on ESPN and other shows. Is there an interest in seeing these teams play in like a little tournament themselves? Is there in like a little losers bracket, I guess? Is there even a point to seeing these people play? Because I've been seeing some things that people want these teams, like they want to see these teams play, but honestly, given these times, even the cost that's going to take, and it's meaningless games. You're not playing for anything. I doubt that these players even want to, but there's ultimately no point in playing games. So I'm not even sure why it's a conversation, if I'm being honest.
Well, it's kind of like, some of the teams who want a better chance to get that number 1 overall pick, they rather see their team, go out there, play and lose. Get a better shot at the number 1 pick. Some people just, they're
let's go out there and do our best to lose, guys. Hell yeah.
But also some people, they're just diehard basketball fans, and you hate to lose seeing a chance for seeing your team play or your favorite players play. There are some people like Vince Carter. He's not going to get another chance to play. He's calling it quits after 22 seasons.
First guy to play in 4 different decades. He's still on the N64.
Yeah. And just seeing stuff like that, and just there's always, no matter who's playing, there's always a chance for something crazy to happen in basketball.
That's fair.
So I understand why people want it back, but from a business standpoint and from a career standpoint, for most of these players, coming back probably not the best idea, because you come back in one of these games because they're playing like 8 games that they probably get.
It's like 8 regular season games, something like that.
What happens if one of their star players gets hurt?
It's
or
bad.
something happens and someone wants to trade. So
Imagine if something happens to Steph Curry.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to lose those people.
It's not worth the risk.
It's not worth the risk.
It really isn't. I mean, for all cool things, it would be to like see them play. I guess in losers bracket, there's ultimately not a big enough reason for them to play to justify this.
Yeah,
It
it's
is what it is.
Yeah,
I kind of like I could say like when the NHL came back with their plan, the Sharks were not a part of the playoff teams, and I was disappointed, of course. But at the same time, like the Sharks, like these 8 teams that were listed, there is almost no chance they were actually going to do something with it. So it's better just be done with it, regroup, revamp, and maybe rebuild a little bit better, and just come, like you said, Jalen, come back better next year.
There's always next year.
It's nice to play, but also you gotta be a little realistic.
Yeah, no, it's my whole thing is, I saw a couple of things about people against, the people coming back to play them. A lot of people just said just in the season because they said no matter what, there's going to be an asterisk next to whoever wins the championship. But I think, and I'm going to go off what Giannis said. Giannis released a statement saying this is probably going to be the toughest championship to win of all time. And I 100% agree.
Yeah, I'm right there with him. It was an interesting point to make, but it's definitely one that now I've heard. I'm on board with that train of thought.
Yeah, you have to think about it. You kind of have to listen to this perspective. All these players, usually during the season, you see a lot of these players sit out a couple of games, injuries, stuff like that.
Unless
all these players have been resting
out half the season.
Yeah, exactly. These players
load management. They're not sitting out.
All these players have been sitting out for months now, training, getting better, working on their shot, working on the stuff that they already knew this season they struggled with. So it's pretty much like a quick off-season turnaround. That beginning of the season heat that people bring, when they're kind of just going off because of all that work they put in all season. Now you guys just pretty much went through a season, gave these players enough time to study what they were doing wrong and fix it, work on that, work on their shot, work on the jumper, free those, get those down. Now these guys are hungry. Those bubble teams who are fighting for that 8th seed, hungry. They know that this is their last shot. 8 games to go all out to get a playoff spot. These guys are going to go balls to the wall to get that spot. And then those teams are now on the bottom, who everyone was counting out and said doesn't even need to show up. Those teams, let's say the number 1 seed gets shocked in the first round.
Dude, we could see some nice stuff like happens in the NCAA. We didn't get March Madness this year. Maybe the NBA could give us a little July Madness.
There's going to be some July Madness, some August Madness going on.
Is the thing, especially if your team's not in it, like those 8 teams. Like, what do you do in the NCAA tournament when there's like not a team you really care about or whatever? If you're like me, you're like a lot of people where you just go for the lower seed, you go for the underdog.
Exactly, and there's going to be some underdog stories. I think these people have been training their asses off because they wanted to come back to basketball.
Also, Walton got to do.
Yeah, exactly, and they've given guys outs. Like we've seen a couple of players say that they don't want to come. So everyone who's showing up wants to be here right now. If you didn't want to be on the team you are on, or you just want to wait for free agency, like DeMarcus Cousins, he could easily come back. He had a couple offers from teams. He said, I want to wait till next season and come back stronger and sign with the team long term. There are players who are ready for this. There are players in contract years who still need to show something. They're going to go crazy. There are people that want to resign with their team. They need to give like some last ditch effort to try to get their team to look at them again to resign them. They're going to play.
Let me put this out. What if you're a guy like LeBron James and you have a favorite in the Lakers to ultimately take the trophy this year? And he's not only fighting for the trophy, his legacy is arguably on the line right now because we all know he has not had that good of a record when it comes to NBA Finals.
Yeah.
It's going down. This is a big prove-it year for a team with the talent like they have. He has a lot to prove in this little postseason.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the whole thing is, you can make it to the playoffs, but when you get to the playoffs, when you're playing against actual top-of-the-line teams day in, day out, can you still play up to that level?
I'm curious, this is LeBron James' first playoff. playoffs in the West Conference.
Yeah,
we all know historically that the East Coast or the Eastern Conference has not been nearly as good, nearly as competitive, nearly as fierce as the Western Conference. So that is also going to be something to watch out for as well, seeing LeBron James perform in his first Western Conference playoffs.
Yeah, because, and I know a lot of people's argument is going to be like, well, he makes the finals and he has to play against the top Western team, and he's won a couple of times. But at the same time, you have to think. Yeah, but you have to think about it this way. The Warriors were so dangerous when they made those runs because they went through the tough West and still dominated to the top of season and the season out for a couple years in a row.
Oh yeah.
Now that's the hard part though, is you have to go through multiple rounds with the best teams in the league, tougher teams than you would normally see in the East. There are teams that you have to watch out for. There are hungry teams from bottom to top, from 8th seed to 1st seed. There are dangerous teams all across the West. And you slip up for one game, and that one game can cost you your entire playoff run. It's not that much in the East. In the East, you could slip up and then,
you'll be fine. Like you could lose. You could afford to lose a couple games.
But in the West, you slip up one game and you get into a tough back and forth battle with somebody you shouldn't be getting into a battle with. Let's say you do win that series. What about that next series? You just wasted your whole bunch of energy on those extra games against a team you gave up a couple of games to that you shouldn't have. Now you got a little bit more tired, a little bit more beat up.
See, ultimately, the thing is that the Western Conference is different than the Eastern Conference. Whether you like to admit it or not, it is. And it's going to be really interesting to see how these playoffs play out. And luckily, it's July. So the sports, Jalen, we're halfway through the year.
Yes.
And the NBA is coming back this month. The MLB is coming back this month. The NHL is coming back this month. Knock on wood, just in case. Bread and butter.
Yes.
But maybe this is the things that it's the time of the year that things are finally going to turn around, Jalen. Yeah. And with that being said, I'm going to look back at that statement a couple months ago and say, oh boy, how wrong was I?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. At Cold Takes Exposed.
Yeah. It's, there was a video release saying that the score right now, I think, was like 42 or 44 to 0. And right now, 2020 is winning, but Earth has a history in making the big
But as long as Kyle Shanahan is the coach, then we have a chance.
No, we don't. No. He needs to be fired on the spot.
No. As long as he's a coach of 2020.
Oh yeah, if he's a coach of 2020,
we got that comeback chance.
We got this in the bag, baby.
Let's go, man. Let's talk about this stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, it's July 1st every year until 2035 is Bobby Bonilla Day. He used to play for the Mets. He hasn't played a game since October of 1999. And ever since then, and ever since 2001 and going to 2035, the Mets are going to be paying him $1.19 million. Good for him because they had the option to buy out his contract for something like $5.9 million in 1999. They declined the buyout, and now look what they're doing. He's going to be getting paid pretty much $1.2 million until he's 72 years old. So my man, that's one hell of a stipend.
I need whoever Social Security agent
has.
Was.
Oh, his agent. Social Security has nothing on this guy because he's collecting money until he's dead, pretty much.
You think you're a good debt collector? I think not.
And this is also such a Mets thing to do.
Very Mets thing to do. If you told me this was happening and told me guess which organization did this, I would guess the Mets first.
It's the Mets. It's always the Mets. Like in NBA, when someone does something stupid, probably the Knicks. When in the MLB, someone does something stupid, probably the Mets. In the NFL, something does stupid, probably the Jets. And I think I see a pattern here, Jalen.
Yeah, I do.
New York is dumb. It's hard to take away.
It's New York.
God bless you, New York. Screw the Yankees.
New York used to be like a powerhouse for sports back in the day, and then
ever since the Brooklyn Dodgers left.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That was unfortunate.
And now let's wrap things, Jalen, with the NHL. They're closing in on their location for the playoffs. They're going to have a hub, and they're probably going to be a Canadian team. Talking either Toronto or Edmonton, most likely, possibly Vegas. That is still in the conversation. Yeah. I would love if it goes to Vegas. Let's trash up that piece of crap T-Mobile Arena.
Okay, let's not do that. Okay, let's not.
But also, let's also not be in Vegas because even though there's no fans, that's still home ice for the Knights, and I don't want to see anything good happen to them. No bias.
I would love for it to be in Vegas. I would. No
Why,
bias
Jalen?
here at all.
Why?
I just so happen to be a Vegas Golden Knights fan, but I would love for it to be in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, just so happen.
Just for the sport of hockey, not even for the Golden Knights.
Yes, let's not have the hockey playoffs in a snowy environment like Canada, where hockey is from. But let's have it in a desert.
It just feels right, It gives nobody an upper hand because fans aren't going to be there.
Besides the Knights. It doesn't matter. The fans. I saw that stupid castle on the top deck.
Yeah, but all bias aside, Vegas would just be like the best location for this.
It's whatever. And here, John, there are a lot of people very mad about this going down. Last week we had the NHL draft lottery, and the team that won it is a team. The team that won is TBD, to be determined, because somehow the Detroit Red Wings, with like a 14% chance to win the lottery or whatever, they're drafting third. The team that's drafting first had only like a few percent chance, and the team drafting is one of the 8 teams that are in a play-in series for the playoffs. So the number 1 draft pick this year is going to a playoff team.
Yeah, see, that's usually not how this is supposed to work.
Oh man, what's going on? Obviously, happy with that. I love it. It's just chaotic as hell.
I know. I like the lottery idea. Sometimes it gives everyone a chance.
Lottery's fun.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I love them when they do the whole actual lottery thing. They get the balls like and stuff like that. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good
but
stuff.
At some point, we have to admit there are some flaws to the lottery. The lottery fact is anyone could win. Like in real life, the real lottery, you can be a homeless person and put your $1 down, but there could also be a billionaire that wins who just was like, "Oh, forget it, I'll try this."
There's pros and cons to this. It's hard to have the NFL draft is a great draft because there's
the worst team gets the top player,
and you don't have to worry about a playoff team getting the number 1 overall pick,
which should never happen. Playoff teams should even be making it into the lottery.
I love it. I don't care. I think this is great just for the stupidity of it all.
Yeah, it is pretty stupid.
One of my favorite stories to break from the NHL, though, is that in their upcoming new negotiations, the Players Union, is that they're considering going back into the Olympics once more. Recently, it's just been amateurs because we all know the Russians and everyone else is professional. At least we haven't seen the Canadians in it. But it's so much better seeing those kind of players in the NHL. Going back to 2014 Sochi Games, one of my favorite moments in Olympic history, TJ Oshie going to the 7th round of the shootout in the medal round against the stupid Russians. I think it was Bobrovsky was in the net for the Russians. TJ Oshie putting the team on his back and winning that medal for the United States. And, man, that made me feel like one hell of a red-blooded Patriot American with the July, especially with the July 4th.
The only time I ever cheer for a Sharks player, by the way.
Jalen, I respect that. It's okay.
Yeah.
It sucks that half the Sharks players are Canadians, I think. Half their good ones are a bunch of
Yeah, that is very true.
At least their former captain, Joe Pavelski, Captain America, he's a true-blooded American. And at the end of the day, I just want to see NHL players back in the Olympics. It's just going to make it more exciting. End the story. It's going to make it more exciting. And I like to see names that I can recognize. No offense to the amateurs, but I want to see recognizable names in the Olympics. Like when we do the Summer Olympics with the men's basketball team, how it's all these really great NBA players, and like it's guys that you know by heart and could really follow and get behind. The NHL or the Olympics for hockey, you don't really have that. So
and it's one of the only times other than the All-Star weekend where you get to see great players play together, you know, high level hockey. And that's going to be the highest level of hockey. You're fighting, you're playing for your country and you're playing with the top players. So it just adds a little bit more, you know, want to.
It's just so for those fun to watch. If at the end of the day, to sum it up, it's just going to make for better games. Straight up.
Honestly.
But that's going to do it for us this week. If you guys haven't seen, on Monday, we dropped probably the biggest show in show's history with currently number 8 ranked featherweight, Josh Emmett, making his appearance onto the show. Great interview. You can catch that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcast from. You can also see segmented clips on our YouTube channel. Also, www.thefourthandlong.com for anything you need Fourth and Long with the videos, podcasts, highlighted shows, interviews, and articles as well. Jalen, have I covered it all?
I'm pretty sure you covered it all.
No, I have not covered it all, because you can also catch us on Twitter at Fourth Long Radio, Instagram at Fourth and Long Radio. There, that is everything.
Twitter and Instagram was where our heat comes from, you guys. We are on there Twitter, daily.
Straight fire. Yeah, I'm on Twitter too much.
Yeah.
But it's for work. I'm not addicted. It's for work. It's business.
I can stop if I want to.
I just don't want to stop.
Exactly. You know, it's getting nice. We're almost to 200 followers on there. I think we're at like 191.
193.
193 now.
Add a couple.
Yes. But, you know, we're building. You know, there was a couple months back, literally not too long ago, where we only had about like 13 followers, and people were talking to us like, what type of podcast only has 11 followers and don't count your mom? And, you know, now even if I do count my mom and Ross's mom, we still have 191 followers.
Also, shout out to my grandparents. Love you guys.
And grandparents. Shh, you weren't supposed to say that. That takes our number even lower.
But they can't criticize your grandparents.
You can't criticize grandparents.
That's like illegal.
It should be illegal. You can't criticize old people.
Hey, I won't mess with my grandpa. Dude he means business with that belt.
Yeah, old people know how to whoop. That's
He takes your cars. He waxes a lot, so you know them arms are a little beefy.
Wax on, wax off. He been watching that Karate Kid. I know it.
Oh, this is great. But we will catch you guys later. Stay tuned for halfway through the year awards show for the UFC, or UFC 251 preview show, and some other fun stuff on the way.
And also we're coming around to we're coming up to almost a year. We've almost been doing this for a year now.
Hey, drop suggestions of what you want to see us do.
Yeah, for our year anniversary, drop suggestions on what you guys want us to do. It could be any just topic, some type of game or something.
Some bet or dare. I probably do, because I'm stupid and I have no self-esteem.
Me either.
And on that note, we'll catch you guys in the next one.